In a shocking turn of events that has left fans reeling, Mendeecees' son has accused Yandy of abuse, and the situation has escalated quickly, with police now involved. The shocking claims have sent shockwaves through the family and the public, with everyone asking the same question: what really happened behind closed doors? Sources close to the family have revealed disturbing details, and now, as more and more people weigh in, emotions are running high. Was this a one-time heated moment, or is there something much darker lurking beneath the surface of this family's drama? Mendeecees, who has been known for his protective stance over his family, is now caught in the middle of a controversy that could shatter everything he's worked for. With police investigating and family members at odds, this is a scandal that could change the course of their lives forever. Stay tuned as we break down the shocking accusations, explosive arguments, and the devastating fallout. You won't believe what comes next. The story began unfolding late one evening when a blurry video surfaced on social media, allegedly showing Mendeecees' teenage son in a highly emotional state, speaking to someone off camera. In the clip, his voice trembled as he claimed that Yandy had been mistreating him for a long time. But what truly caught everyone off guard was his shocking statement that his own father, Mendeecees, had recently tried to hurt Yandy during a heated confrontation. The clip spread like wildfire, gaining traction across multiple platforms, with fans, bloggers, and even some celebrities weighing in on the explosive accusation. Within hours, hashtags like #JusticeForMendeecees and #YandyExposed began trending, and the entire internet seemed to be watching the family's next move. Behind the scenes, chaos erupted. According to an anonymous insider, tensions have been building in the household for months. Sources claim that Yandy and Mendeecees have been fighting frequently, often over parenting styles and how to handle the growing distance between Mendeecees and his eldest son. It's said that the son, feeling isolated and unheard, began confiding in close friends about the emotional turmoil he was experiencing at home. These conversations allegedly included claims that Yandy was overly strict, dismissive, and at times verbally aggressive. Things came to a boiling point just days before the video leaked, when an argument erupted between Yandy and the boy over his school performance. Witnesses say that the shouting match was intense and left the teen visibly shaken. What no one expected, though, was the next twist. Apparently, Mendeecees arrived home in the middle of that argument. According to the teen, what happened next was terrifying. He says Mendeecees lost control and tried to physically attack Yandy to defend his son, only stopping when she locked herself in a room. Though there's no official confirmation of what truly went down that night, the boy's emotional video painted a vivid and disturbing picture. He described feeling scared, confused, and betrayed, claiming that the home he once felt safe in had become a battleground. As the video gained more attention, the media frenzy intensified. Popular gossip sites published headline after headline, speculating on everything from Yandy's parenting to Mendeecees' mental state. Fan forums exploded with heated debates, some supporting the son's bravery while others questioned the authenticity of the video. Some fans pointed out that the boy seemed coached or rehearsed, while others believed his raw emotion couldn't possibly be faked. What made things even more complicated was the couple's long-standing image of unity and love. They had always presented themselves as a blended family working through challenges together. But this scandal seemed to unravel that entire narrative. Police reportedly received multiple calls from concerned fans who saw the viral clip and feared for everyone's safety. Within 24 hours, law enforcement was seen outside the couple's home, and sources close to the family confirmed that an official wellness check had been conducted. The details of that visit remain sealed, but what is clear is that the situation was serious enough for authorities to get involved. A family representative released a brief and vague statement claiming that everyone is safe and cooperating with officials, but that did little to calm the storm. In fact, it only sparked more speculation. If nothing happened, why get the police involved? The teen's mother, who has remained mostly out of the public eye since her split from Mendeecees years ago, suddenly emerged with a cryptic Instagram story that read, "Truth always comes to light. Protect our children." She didn't name anyone directly, but the implication was obvious. Fans quickly interpreted it as her way of supporting her son's claims while throwing shade at Yandy. Not long after, another video surfaced, this time showing the boy in what appeared to be a friend's house, still visibly shaken, talking about how he never wanted things to go public, but felt like he had no other choice. He expressed regret for causing drama, but insisted that he needed to be heard. His voice cracked as he said, "Nobody ever believes kids like me, especially when the adults are famous." Meanwhile, Yandy remained silent. For over 48 hours, she didn't post a single update, didn't respond to messages, and reportedly canceled an upcoming appearance. Her silence was deafening to some and suspicious to others. Fans speculated whether she was hiding, trying to do damage control, or dealing with legal issues behind closed doors. Insiders claimed that she was completely blindsided by the video and felt deeply betrayed, not just by her stepson, but by Mendeecees himself, who had yet to issue any kind of public statement. According to one source close to Yandy, she broke down in tears, saying, "I did everything for him. Everything, and this is what I get." As pressure mounted, the family found itself divided. While some relatives sided with the teen, believing that something had indeed gone wrong in the household, others stood firmly behind Yandy, claiming she had always treated the children with love and fairness. The split created even more drama, with family group chats reportedly exploding with arguments and accusations. One cousin allegedly posted on Facebook, "They all forgot about the cameras when the real stuff started happening. Now everybody wanna play innocent." What truly complicated matters was Mendeecees' silence. Fans noticed he hadn't said a word publicly since the accusations came out. For someone usually so vocal about his family, his lack of defense for Yandy raised eyebrows. Some wondered if he believed the allegations. Others thought he was trying to protect both his son and his wife by staying out of the spotlight. But behind closed doors, sources say things were far from calm. One friend of the couple described a tense standoff in their home, with Yandy allegedly packing her things, threatening to leave, and accusing Mendeecees of letting the world turn on her. He reportedly pleaded with her, saying, "You know this ain't true. You know I'd never let that happen." But she allegedly replied, "Then why didn't you say something? Why did you let him destroy me?" By the third day, the drama had spilled into every corner of the media. Reality TV stars weighed in, podcast hosts dissected the timeline, and fans picked apart every detail like digital detectives. Old clips of the family interacting on their show were reposted and reanalyzed, with people trying to spot signs of tension. One video in particular showed a moment where Yandy interrupted the boy during a family discussion, and fans claimed it revealed years of subtle disrespect. Whether that interpretation was accurate or not, it added fuel to the fire. As the noise grew louder, insiders reported that legal teams had become involved. Child Protective Services were allegedly conducting interviews, and the family was advised not to speak publicly. The boy, meanwhile, had deactivated most of his social media, only leaving a single post that read, "I told the truth. That's all I can do." And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any more intense, new rumors began swirling. Rumors that Mendeecees was planning to take drastic action to repair his image and protect his family. What that meant exactly, no one knew. But fans were on edge, waiting for the next bombshell. And that bombshell came the very next morning. The next morning, everything changed. At around 7:30 a.m., paparazzi photos began surfacing online showing Mendeecees walking out of a law office in Manhattan with a somber look on his face and what appeared to be a folder of legal documents in his hand. He was flanked by two unfamiliar men who many speculated were lawyers or publicists. Fans immediately began speculating that this was the move insiders had hinted at, a strategic legal maneuver to either defend his family or distance himself from the fallout. What no one expected, however, was that just hours later, a shocking new report would emerge suggesting that Mendeecees was considering filing for temporary custody of his son. According to a source close to the situation, he felt his son was being manipulated and needed professional help to cope with trauma. not social media attention. This revelation divided fans even further. Some praised Mendeecees for trying to take control of the situation and protect both his son and Yandy. Others accused him of trying to silence the boy and shift the narrative to avoid accountability. But perhaps the most surprising part of this new development was that Yandy was not named in the custody filing at all. The documents, which quickly leaked online, indicated that Mendeecees was requesting a court-mandated therapist for his son and asking for limited social media access. Nowhere did it mention any abuse investigation or protective measures against Yandy, which left fans scratching their heads. Was he trying to clear her name without actually saying so? Or was this just a distraction tactic to make the scandal go away? While the internet tried to piece together the puzzle, another unexpected twist came when Yandy finally broke her silence. She'd appeared in a short Instagram live from what looked like a hotel room. Her voice was calm but clearly strained, her eyes red and puffy as if she had been crying for hours. In the live, she said, "I've stayed silent because I didn't want to make things worse. But now, my name, my character, and my love as a mother are being questioned, and I cannot allow that to continue." She denied all allegations of abuse, stating that she had always loved and cared for Mendeecees' son as her own. She also hinted that someone close to the family had been feeding the boy false narratives and pushing him to speak out in ways that only caused more division. As she spoke, thousands of fans flooded the live with comments, some supportive, others hostile. One wrote, "We love you, Yandy. Stay strong." Another said, "Stop playing the victim. The kid had nothing to gain from this." But the most heartbreaking moment came when she said, "I've held him when he cried. I've helped him with homework. I've defended him even when it meant fighting with his father. And now I'm the villain. I would never hurt him. Never." But just as Yandy seemed to be gaining sympathy, another bombshell dropped. A new voice note was leaked to a gossip blog allegedly featuring the teen talking to one of his friends. In the recording, he described a moment where Yandy allegedly grabbed his arm too hard during an argument and told him to get out of her face in a tone he found aggressive and frightening. He said, "She ain't ever hit me, but she made me feel like she wanted to. Like she could if no one was looking." The recording added a whole new layer to the story, one that blurred the line between emotional harm and physical threat. Fans began to debate, was this abuse? Was this just tough parenting? Or was this all spiraling out of context? Things only escalated further when the boy's biological mother came forward again, this time with receipts. She posted screenshots of old text messages between her son and Yandy. In one exchange, the boy wrote, "I'm trying, but you always think I'm lying." Yandy allegedly responded, "Because you are. You always manipulate the truth." Another text appeared to show Yandy scolding him for being lazy and saying, "You'll never be anything if you don't grow up." Though the messages weren't violent or threatening, many fans felt they showed a pattern of emotional pressure that could damage a young mind. Some argued that Yandy was simply acting like a strict parent. Others claimed she was emotionally abusive and dismissive. As all this unfolded, Mendeecees found himself stuck in the middle. Insiders say he was losing sleep, torn between defending his wife and protecting his son. One friend said he looked like a man who was slowly falling apart, constantly on the phone with lawyers, family members, and publicists. Reportedly, he had even reached out to a crisis management firm to help navigate the media nightmare. But despite his efforts, the damage was spreading. One entertainment blogger wrote, "The court of public opinion has already ruled, and it's not looking good for the Harris family." The tension finally exploded during a private family mediation session. Sources claim Mendeecees, Yandy, the teen, and his mother met in a neutral location with lawyers present. What was supposed to be a calm discussion quickly turned chaotic. Witnesses from the building reported hearing loud voices and slammed doors. One source close to the situation said Yandy stormed out of the meeting after yelling, "I've been your scapegoat long enough." Mendeecees allegedly followed her, trying to calm her down, while the boy sat with his head in his hands, looking devastated. After the failed mediation, more family members began choosing sides. One of Yandy's cousins posted a lengthy rant on social media defending her, saying, "You don't get to live off her love, her support, her roof, then throw her under the bus. She gave everything to that family." In contrast, the boy's aunt clapped back, writing, "He's a child, a hurt, confused child. He doesn't need discipline right now, he needs healing." It became clear that no matter what the truth was, the family had been ripped apart by mistrust, pain, and public scrutiny. Fans, meanwhile, were growing more emotionally invested than ever. Some created tribute videos in support of the teen, calling him brave for speaking out. Others dug up old interviews with Yandy, where she spoke about parenting and tried to point out contradictions. One fan tweeted, "The way she talked about being a bonus mom was all cap. Now look." Another wrote, "Kids can be cruel too. Don't forget that." And while the online world debated and dissected, another quiet development went mostly unnoticed. Until now, a neighbor who lives near the family's home told a local reporter that she had seen police return to the residence twice since the initial wellness check. She claimed that one of those visits resulted in a tense exchange in the driveway between Yandy and an officer. Though no arrests were made, the neighbor described the scene as emotionally charged and worrisome. The police department has not released any public statements, but insiders believe a formal investigation may already be underway behind closed doors. Just when it seemed like the family might be heading towards some kind of resolution, yet another twist shocked everyone. The boy's school counselor came forward, anonymously through a journalist, with a statement that raised even more concerns. The counselor claimed that the teen had visited their office multiple times in recent months, expressing feelings of being unseen, targeted, and not wanted at home. While the counselor didn't mention Yandy by name, the implication was clear, and when asked if any mandatory reports had been filed, the counselor reportedly declined to answer, citing confidentiality laws. As the storm continued to rage, both online and behind the scenes, one thing became painfully clear: this wasn't just a scandal anymore. It was a full-blown family crisis, and no one knew how it would end. The fallout from the counselor's anonymous statement spread like wildfire. Within hours, major gossip blogs and entertainment outlets had picked up the story, with headlines like "Family Imploding" and "New Evidence Yandy's Parenting May Be Harmful," dominating the digital space. But what shook everyone even more was the reaction from Mendeecees himself. For the first time since the allegations broke, he posted a black screen to his Instagram stories with a cryptic message: "Truth takes time. Lies move fast." Fans were divided. Some interpreted it as a shot at his son, while others felt it was directed at the media. Either way, it sparked even more questions than answers. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, the pressure was taking its toll on every member of the family. Sources close to Yandy say she had isolated herself, avoiding calls, and even skipping a scheduled appearance at a charity event she had been promoting for months. One close friend said she had fallen into a deep state of emotional exhaustion, crying constantly and questioning whether she had failed as a mother. To make matters worse, an alleged dim leak showed messages between Yandy and a former castmate where she vented, "I gave my all to this family. Now I'm the villain in a story I didn't even write." That single message went viral, with fans once again taking sides, some saying it showed her true pain, others calling it manipulative. As the emotional war raged on, something strange happened. A video began circulating online showing the teen walking down a street alone, holding a backpack and seemingly talking to someone on the phone. In the background, a voice could be heard saying, "You good? You want us to pick you up?" He responded, "Nah, I just need air." They all fake. Although the video was short and blurry, it spread like wildfire, with fans speculating whether he had run away or simply stepped out to clear his head. Within hours, hashtags like #ProtectThem and #FamilyTruth began trending, further escalating the situation. By this point, Mendeecees had reportedly moved out of the family home and was staying at a friend's penthouse across town. Some say it was for space, others claim it was because the home environment had become too toxic. Either way, the separation only added fuel to rumors of a deeper rift between him and Yandy. Insiders say they were barely speaking except through lawyers, with both trying to navigate how to manage the scandal without destroying what was left of their public image. What made matters even more complicated was that production companies connected to their reality shows were now getting involved. One anonymous producer revealed that they were on standby, waiting to see if this real-life drama could be turned into content, or if it was too damaging to touch. As cameras waited in the wings, another blow landed. The boy's biological mother filed an emergency petition requesting full custody, claiming that her son was in an emotionally unstable environment. In the documents, she cited mental manipulation, lack of emotional safety, and prolonged exposure to public scrutiny. She claimed the family had turned her son into a pawn in their ongoing drama and accused Yandy specifically of trying to control him through fear and gaslighting. Fans were stunned. Some felt it was a mother doing what any mother would do, fight for her child. Others saw it as opportunistic, especially considering she had remained mostly silent until now. The petition set off a chain reaction. Mendeecees, who had been relatively quiet up until now, was forced to issue a legal response. His team argued that removing the boy from both homes at once would only cause more harm, especially given the media frenzy. Instead, they proposed court-monitored counseling and a temporary break from all social media for everyone involved. But the court didn't immediately grant that. Instead, they ordered an emergency hearing within 72 hours, where all parties would have to appear in person. The media got wind of the court date, and before long, reporters were already camped outside the courthouse 3 days in advance, hoping to catch a glimpse of the broken family as they entered the building. Meanwhile, online discussion had reached new levels of toxicity. Trolls began mocking the family, using clips from old episodes and twisting them to fit the current scandal. Fan pages that once celebrated the Harris family were now divided, either deleting old posts or flooding them with updated captions like "This aged horribly." Yandy's businesses also began to take a hit. A brand deal with a popular beauty company was suddenly postponed, and several customers posted screenshots showing that they had requested refunds on recent purchases. Even her charity initiatives were affected, with some volunteers reportedly backing out of upcoming events, citing reputational concerns. But just when it seemed like things couldn't spiral further, the team made a surprise move. He posted a black and white selfie to his private story, a platform most people didn't have access to, but one of his friends leaked. In the caption, he wrote, "Everyone's talking about me. Nobody's listening to me." That single sentence hit hard. Fans who had previously mocked or dismissed him began rethinking their stance. A few influencers even released videos apologizing for judging the situation too quickly and called on others to show compassion instead of criticism. This emotional pivot forced the public narrative to slow down and reflect. Several mental health advocates stepped in, releasing statements urging people to stop treating real trauma like reality TV. One therapist even went live on Instagram, explaining how teens in blended families often feel unseen and misunderstood, especially when caught between public and private expectations. "This isn't just about fame," she said. "This is about pain, and right now, the entire family needs help, not hashtags." Still, the damage had already been done, and as the court date loomed closer, both sides began preparing for what could be the most public and painful reckoning yet. Yandy, despite everything, was said to be working on a personal statement she planned to deliver in court. Mendeecees was reportedly coaching his son on what to say if asked directly by the judge. Meanwhile, the boy's mother had hired a high-powered attorney with a reputation for winning high-profile custody battles. The stage was set, and the stakes were higher than ever. But in the final hours before the court hearing, something unexpected happened. A mutual friend of both Yandy and Mendeecees arranged a secret sit-down, not with them, but with the team. The goal was simple: get him to speak his truth without cameras, lawyers, or pressure. In that meeting, which reportedly lasted nearly 2 hours, the boy opened up about everything: his fears, his frustrations, and his deep sense of betrayal. He didn't hold back. He reportedly said, "I just wanted to feel like I mattered." But they were too busy saving face. According to the friend, that meeting changed everything. Not because it solved the conflict, but because it made the pain impossible to ignore. The next morning, outside the courthouse, the scene was pure chaos. Reporters lined the steps, fans stood behind barricades, and security worked overtime to manage the crowd. Mendeecees arrived first, flanked by his legal team and looking visibly exhausted. Yandy followed shortly after, wearing all black and avoiding eye contact with anyone. The boy and his mother came last, both wearing solemn expressions. For the first time in weeks, all the key players were in one place, face to face. Inside the courtroom, the tension was unbearable. Phones were banned, but that didn't stop insiders from leaking updates through private text and back channels. The judge opened the session by warning all parties that emotional manipulation and public image tactics had no place in the courtroom. He then asked each person to speak in turn, starting with the teen himself. As he stood up to address the room, there was a long silence. Everyone leaned in, waiting for his words. The room was so silent you could hear the hum of the fluorescent lights above. All eyes were on the boy as he stood in front of the judge, his hands trembling slightly, his voice low but steady. He didn't read from a paper. He didn't look at anyone except the judge. He simply spoke from the heart. He began by saying he was tired of being in the middle, tired of people speaking for him, and tired of being treated like a problem instead of a person. He said, "I never wanted any of this. I just wanted to feel safe. And sometimes I didn't." The judge nodded, giving him space to continue. He went on to describe moments where he felt invisible at home, how expectations were placed on him without understanding what he was going through. He spoke about the pressure of being part of a public family, how everything felt like a performance, even the love. He said, "I know they love me, but sometimes it feels like they love their image more." The words cut through the courtroom like a blade. Yandy closed her eyes as if the pain of hearing it aloud was too much. Mendeecees sat still, his jaw clenched, clearly holding back emotion. But then the boy did something unexpected. He looked directly at Yandy and Mendeecees and said, "I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just telling the truth. I don't hate you. I just want to be heard." That moment shifted everything. Even the boy's mother, who had been prepared to go on the attack, softened. She leaned forward, gently placing a hand on her son's shoulder as he sat back down. For a brief second, the family, though fractured, seemed to be united by something real, raw emotion. The judge thanked him and moved on to the parents. Yandy was asked to speak next. She stood up slowly, took a deep breath, and began by acknowledging that she had made mistakes. Her voice cracked as she said, "I tried to be perfect. I tried to be everything. But in doing that, maybe I stopped seeing what he really needed." She admitted that she had been so focused on protecting their image and controlling the narrative that she missed the pain building right in front of her. She turned to him and said, "I'm sorry. I see you now, not as my responsibility, as my son." Then came Mendeecees' turn. He was more reserved but no less emotional. He said that being a father had always been complicated for him, especially with the pressures of being in the public eye. He admitted he hadn't always handled things the right way. "I tried to teach him to be strong," he said, "but I forgot to show him that it's okay to be vulnerable." He also apologized to the boy's mother, acknowledging that their history had clouded his judgment. "We all got hurt trying to protect ourselves," he said, "and we forgot that he was the one who needed protecting the most." When all sides had spoken, the judge called for a recess. During that break, something extraordinary happened. The three parents, Yandy, Mendeecees, and the boy's biological mother, were seen stepping outside the courtroom and sitting together on a bench. They weren't yelling. They weren't arguing. They were just talking, quietly, respectfully. No cameras, no lawyers. Just three adults finally realizing the damage done and what was at stake. By the time they returned to the courtroom, a subtle shift had taken place. The judge noticed it too. Instead of issuing a hard ruling, he made a different choice. He ordered family therapy with a neutral third-party specialist, 3 sessions per week for the next 60 days. He also temporarily removed the boy from both homes, placing him with a trusted extended family member, someone he reportedly had a good relationship with. The goal was simple: give everyone time to heal separately so they could try again together. The media swarmed the courthouse steps as they exited, but for once, no one said a word. There were no prepared statements, no interviews, no smiles for the cameras. Just silence. Yandy, Mendeecees, and the boy's mother left in separate cars. The boy left with his relative, holding a small duffel bag and a journal in his hand. One photographer caught a shot of him looking out the car window, a blank expression on his face, and that image would later become the symbol of the entire saga. In the following days, things got quieter online. The hate slowed down. Some influencers deleted their previous videos. Others posted apologies. But what really changed the narrative was when Yandy made a surprise appearance on a late-night talk show, not to defend herself, but to take accountability. She said, being a mother in public is hard, but being a child in pain with the world watching is harder. She admitted that therapy had opened her eyes and that she hoped to earn back the trust of her family, not through words, but through actions. Mendeecees also released a video, much simpler, just him talking to the camera. He said, "As men, we think we gotta fix everything, but sometimes fixing means listening, and I'm ready to do that now." He didn't cry. He didn't blame. He just kept it real. Fans responded positively, and for the first time in weeks, comments were filled with words like growth, respect, and healing. As for the boy, his whereabouts remained mostly private, but one of his close friends posted a blurry Polaroid on social media of the two of them laughing at a diner. The caption said, "He's doing better. We just being kids again." It wasn't much, but it was enough to show that maybe, just maybe, things were turning around. By the end of the 60 days, the court reconvened to hear progress reports from the therapist. According to insiders, the sessions had been emotional but productive. There had been tears, breakthroughs, and most importantly, truth. The boy reportedly said he finally felt like his voice mattered, not because people were scared, but because they were listening. The therapist recommended a gradual reintroduction to the home environment, with regular check-ins and continued therapy. The judge agreed and offered one final statement before adjourning the case. He said, "Families break. It happens, but healing begins the moment people stop shouting and start hearing." And today, I believe this family is on the road to healing. Those words brought closure, but not finality. Because healing, as everyone in that room knew, would be a process, not an event. Outside the courthouse, the atmosphere was different. Less chaos, more calm. Yandy was seen hugging the boy's mother. Mendeecees placed a hand on his son's shoulder, guiding him toward the car. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. As they drove off, leaving the courthouse and the cameras behind, a new chapter was beginning. One not defined by scandal or spectacle, but by silent effort, honest conversations, and the slow rebuilding of trust. And now, with the dust barely settling and tension still hanging thick in the air, fans are left wondering what comes next. Will Rashida finally gather the courage to expose everything she knows? Or will the fear, the pressure, and the hidden threats force her into permanent silence? One thing is clear, this story is far from over. The mystery surrounding those unreleased clips continues to stir up emotions, divide friendships, and shake the foundation of the love and hip-hop universe. What started as a behind-the-scenes conflict has now become a full-blown crisis that's unfolding right before our eyes. But the biggest question still remains. What is Mendeecees really hiding? And just how far is he willing to go to protect those secrets? The whispers, the warnings, the silent glances, and the cryptic messages, it all adds up to a chilling reality that Rashida can't ignore. She's scared, she's watching her back, and every step she takes feels like walking a tightrope over a pit of danger. Yet fans are rallying behind her, hoping that the truth will come to light and that justice, whatever form it takes, will prevail. So now it's your turn. What do you think is really going on behind the scenes? Do you believe Rashida should release the footage and risk everything? Or is it smarter for her to walk away and protect herself before things spiral even further out of control? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're reading every single one. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more explosive updates, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next twist in this unbelievable saga. Because if you think this is the end, you haven't seen anything yet.